at the time. I stayed down for a few minutes, and the game ended up going on further. Indians took a 5-4 lead the next inning.
Yeah.
And then we could not hold that lead. They came up with a couple of more hits in the bottom half, and they ended up winning 6-5.
14, right? Or 13.
I think it was either 13 or 14. We were shorthanded without Lee. They were just as shorthanded.
They were extremely shorthanded.
They only had 9.
It was a big loss for you because you really, they had 2/3 of the outfield was not there.
Yeah.
Captain Joe Chira. So you had, I put Jack Abadi in center field. No loss there. But
right.
But they played with 9
They played with 9 the whole day. Jaime Sham at shortstop made every play. And they put Mark Braha at third base. And Jack Abadi at center. You
had Sifu and right, so you really had something where,
we did test Sifu, by the way.
Completely out of position.
We hit a lot of balls to right field, and except for one, he made every play. He screwed up one play. Besides for that, he made maybe 12 putouts on the day. We hit there a lot. Not that we were targeting him, but we happened to hit there. We had a couple of lefties. Eddie Rishti goes to right a lot, and Sifu made the plays.
So, again, the big problem with your team seems, again, to be offense. And, that a trading deadline coming. I know last time we talked, you were pretty much set on keeping the same team.
Yeah, we got Ralph Chira, but he was in Las Vegas at the Mets AAA team is in Las Vegas, so he was just doing some scouting over there. So we didn't have Ralph Chira, we didn't have Lee Zaccaria. Those are 2 big bats in our lineup. And like I said, we're in extra innings. We've played 4 extra inning games. We're 1-3.
Yeah.
So, and we're 3-5 altogether. So if we get one of those games, we're a 500 team.
Yeah.
We're not in panic mode. We actually did hit the ball this week. I think we played our best games this week. We came up with some clutch hits. We moved Joseph Jamal to the leadoff spot. He had 5 hits. Yeah,
wow.
5 for 9. Daniel Towell came through a few times. Then Eddie Rishti had a phenomenal week. I think he might be up for Player of the Week. We'll see when the announcements are made. So I think we're ready to click. We're definitely not panicking.
Now, the big problem now is you're out for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and you're Mikey's personal catcher. So how's he going to handle that?
The truth is, nobody fully understands the relationship between pitcher and catcher. It's like me and Mikey are having a conversation throughout the day.
They talk about Carlton McCarver, that type of thing.
It's very similar, yes. Gibson also with McCarver. But
and
you know what?
McCarver also went to broadcasting, so a lot of similar...
You're right, by the way. He also got in a famous fight with Deion Sanders.
He poured ice on his...
So I can picture myself fighting with a few people
also.
Right. Eddie Michon, I could hit anybody. But you know what?
It's going to be interesting now. So who's going to...
Ralph Chira is going to assume the immediate role of catcher.
And he's played that before, and he's a good big target, and he plays it very well.
He's played it before, and I'm hoping that I can miss this week, and then it'll be 14 days before our next... I'm hoping that I can only miss 1 week, and then I'll be back. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And it's feeling much better. Took some x-rays and everything. And everything is fine. It's just a sprain, a stretched ligament, but not torn. If it's torn, you're out for the year.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's what Jigga was hoping for. He was hoping to be called up from AAA as a replacement.
Yeah. Jigga trying to make a rebound.
Yes.
So, anyway, that was unbelievable. Another split. You were hoping for a sweep. And I'm sure the Untouchables are extremely happy to come away with a split being shorthanded.
I got to tell you, for being so shorthanded, they really played well. Jack Abadi and Jaime Shama stepped up to their capabilities. Jaime has turned back the clock, the hitting clock.
Circa 1991.
Oh, my God. His last 2 years have been better than I've seen him in maybe 10 years,
And he's becoming a leader, a team player.
Yeah. And Jack Abadi's an absolute beast. Doubles, triples, extra base hits all day, and makes every play in center, of course. And they have a good team. They were shorthanded. They were out of position, if you call Jack in center or Jaime at short, out of position, but... they managed to make it happen.
It's going to be interesting now to see what happens when Joe Chira comes back. If who's going to go in center, if he's going to be in the outfield and leave Jaime at short. Because from what I hear, I don't think Jack's been lights out at short.
That's the thing. I was talking about this a lot during the game. I don't know how Jack plays short, but I seen him play center.
Yeah, no, he's ridiculous.
You got to be crazy to take him out of center, know. But
and
then what do you do with Chira?
No, you put him in left.
So you put him in left. You have DK in left. DK plays a good left. You put him in right.
You put you put AB Dweck. You can move him into the infield.
I guess
third.
So.
Put Mark Braha second. All of a sudden it's a very good team with Jaime and Short.
They're a good team at full strength if they get the chemistry a little bit, and if Leo starts stepping up. Leo was good. He was not great.
He still has some control issues. Which is always going to be a problem. But
he's got his personal catcher also. Chucky has been catching Leo for years now.
Yeah.
And they seem to have an interesting chemistry themselves. Those two.
Oh yeah, well, Chucky definitely not afraid to speak his mind. The best play I saw the other day was a ball hit the right field, right center.
Yeah.
And Sifu was calling off Jack about
Yes. Jack almost punched him and then caught the ball.
Chucky's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Chucky's a classic. We had an interesting rule. We used the pinch runner. Okay? The next 6 guys got on base in succession. Nobody made out for a while. And then at that point, we used the pinch runner. So the last batted out was like 7, 8 guys before that.
And he was on deck?
He's on second base, and now he's up.
Oh.
So we didn't know what to do. We asked Chucky. We agreed. We took the previous guy, whatever. And Mark Braha wanted us to be charged for another runner. But I don't think that's fair because we already used the runner.
Right.
And now we got a slower guy. And so Mark was fighting about it, and Chucky, basically told him to shut up. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to move on without commiserating for a half hour.
Yeah, well, when the YMSL, we do known for making rules as we go along.
Yes.
So, that could have been another situation. No matter how many rules you have, if something comes up.
It's crazy. Like the dog. Nothing will beat the dog, ever.
The dog is one of the classic stories. Well, the best part about the dog was that Red called it.
It's amazing.
Before it happened.
It's
There's
amazing.
a dog in the outfield. Don't worry about it.
It's impossible, really.
So, I don't know what it is.
The phone number is 732-5-YMSL-55.
Right.
How long have we had this number?
Yeah, forgetting. So our phone lines are open. We expect to hear from everybody.
But the truth, I think both teams before the game would have signed up for a split. Basically, we were shorthanded; they were very shorthanded, and that's basically our game over at Memorial too. 2 very well played games, I should add.
Yeah, and this week, we'll get to your matchup a little bit later.
Yeah.
But you have definitely a big week now. You're 3-5, and unfortunately, there are some teams underneath you, so. You still, really everybody's still a sweep away from,
We keep saying we're a sweep away. We thought we had it this week, but unfortunately we didn't.
Yeah.
So we're still with them at 3-5.
Teams at 3-5.
Right.
Now let's shoot over to Memorial 1.
The featured game.
The featured game between the all of a sudden red hot Hebrew Nationals.
Yes.
And versus
the Cardinals.
Eddie Michon's Cardinals.
Yeah.
Both came in with identical records of 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals, the Nationals acquired Solly Estao, which I thought was an incredible pickup. Basically,
they made some good moves.
Basically stole him. A young, great athletic player who really fits the mold of that team. And all of a sudden, before you know it, A.B. Sack is coming into his own. I feel he's taking over that team.
Yeah,
and he's putting his mark on that team.
It's funny with the schedule. If you want to play the Hebrew Nationals in the beginning of the year, before Saka gets on a roll, because he always gets better as the year goes on. He gets stronger when everyone else is getting tired. He always steps it up late, and if you play him in the last week of the season, he's unhittable already.
Yeah.
So the story in this game was basically the Cardinals had a few guys that hit, and then they had around 6 or 7 guys that didn't get a hit all day long. And AB was just mowing through the bottom of their lineup. After Michon and Nathan Zalta, they had like 4 or 5 guys just looking at the box score, 0 for 3.
I don't think Eliezer did too much either this week. Also, they were missing their top hitter, Louis Patesh, who was in China also scouting might be getting some Asian influx next year. So they were missing a guy. But a very frustrating loss in Game 2 for that team, and Eddie Michon basically said he was done. He's hanging it up, calling it a career.
Really?
Yeah.
Where's the balloons, the confetti? We're having a celebration, no?
Well, we can't because the umpires are having a bigger one first.
they reserved the
They
ballroom.
reserved it. And it was second and third. This was a crazy game. But second and third, 2 outs in the last inning. They're down by a run.
Second and third, 2 outs, down by a run.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Michon's up with Braca on deck. Yeah, I was shocked. I heard this later that they didn't walk him to open base. I mean, granted, he's not hitting like he is last year.
Mm-hmm.
But Braca's been struggling this year, so it basically was a meaningless first base to put him on. He set up the force, so he hit a grounder down the first baseline to Edmund, which it was a big debate. Depends who you even talk to, whether it was fair or foul. So it was over the bag, and Edmund flagged it down, knocked it down, whatever, tripped over himself, But the problem was you got him out. Michon didn't even run out of the
I heard
the
this,
baseline.
and there are even some guys on A.B. Sacker's team, the Hebrew Nats, that said, you know what, maybe it was foul or whatever, but it's inexcusable that he didn't run out of the bag.
Right.
If it was foul, it was by a few inches.
There was members of the Cardinals who said they can't even understand why he didn't run at all. That's whether it's fair or foul. It was close enough, certainly, to run. I mean, at that situation. So, a gutsy call by the umpire, but nonetheless they lost. And, as usual, Michon freaked out.
I heard he went nuts on the umpires and unsure of this discipline coming down from the league or not. But
he'd be millionaires off his fines, So
if he ever paid his fines.
But a very frustrating loss again for that team. They really thought, it was a good time to get a split 4-4 to be right in the mix. But, again, I still like that team. I have to see, Eddie Michon now has basically put almost every guy on his team.
That's what it sounds like.
For Eliezer maybe on the block and listening to all offers. So now with the trading deadline coming up this week, we'll see if anything transpires.
It sounds like his team is going to make a few moves. Sounds like anyone and everyone is available. Just so you know, the Nationals scored in almost every inning yesterday.
Yeah.
In the 2 games, they maybe didn't score in 4 or 5 innings total.
Right.
So even when you score a lot of runs, usually you have that 1 inning, the 7-run inning, 8-run inning.
Right.
They just kept scoring over and over and over again. So that's frustrating.
Yeah. Well, Max he does get hit hard. He does have good stuff. But really, now their lineup, I feel, is very solidified, the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of young speedsters, and you have A.B. Cohn, Mars Cassin, now with Solly S. and A.B. Sackett, it's very solid. Zach Goldberg, very, very young, solid team.
They got Mars Cohen on that team.
Yeah.
I used to watch him play softball, hardball in Cope Field. This guy's a real hitter.
Yeah.
If he gets his confidence up and he gets a couple of breaks here and there, you're going to see him win a couple of games for them also.
Who's the left field on that team?
They just got they just got Sammy Towell, Solly Towell.
No, but they have Roditi.
And they have Roditi, so I'm not sure.
Roditi. But Solly S is and Mars Cohn. Yeah, okay, so so they got a very young team, very fast team, and they could be reckoned with now with veteran A.B. Saka and the proven playoff
for sure. Experience. And I'm interested in seeing this matchup this week: Astros versus Hebrew Nationals. I believe they're playing each other. Yeah. They're both 5-3. I think it's a really, really good matchup. Possible future playoff matchup.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Definitely could be right in the middle of the mix there. So. That really covers. I think we got a call coming in.
All right.
Jack from Brooklyn, you're on the air.
How's it going, boys?
Oh, Jack. How are you, Jack Abadi?
Jack Abadi from the Untouchables.
I'm doing very good. I'm sore from Sunday, I'll tell you that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anybody thought he was Norman's ankle. I feel better for us than mine. Get better soon.
Thank you. It was a clean play. It was a nice baseball play.
Too bad he dropped the ball, right, Jack?
Yeah, exactly. At least the umpire didn't throw me out of the game and suspend me for 2 weeks like some other players who don't apply for the play. So I like that,
By the way, your left fielder DK is a little confused about as my role in this league, which is analyst and maybe rabble rouser a little bit, but he thinks I suspended him for barreling into Zolta. And I had nothing to do with suspensions.
I happened to work with Jack Zolta, who I was actually standing next to him at Bobby, all lies. Some guys think they would tell the truth. This guy Jack Gold that portrayed a story was one of the big myths. But anyway, Untouchables has bounced back. We lost, 5 in a row, 4 in a row. Felt like forever. Felt like we haven't won since, before Passover.
Right.
And just to get a victory, and now we're getting full strength. Joe Shearer's coming back. Davey Dress is coming back. We're really thinking that the sky's the limit with this team, and hopefully we get some, chemistry going before the playoffs. If you look at the last couple of years, you have the bad news Bears. They started 8-0. And, at the end of the year, they almost didn't even make the playoffs, and the teams that were...
Yeah, how about the unknowns the year before that? The unknowns a couple of years ago were 8-0, 9-0 also.
I think we're just thinking, get hot at the end of the year and try to go on a run like the Expos. I think we really are focusing the draft this year, me and Joe, was, pick the right guys, pick the good guys that we like to play with.
All right, but now we've been talking. We were talking on the air. What's the game plan going forward now? Are you going back to shortstop? Are you going to stay in the outfield?
I haven't really spoken to Joe about it. He's just got back from a vacation that he was on a bachelor party. Me and my father had spoken preliminarily about it, and I think, Joe's a tremendous center fielder, and Joe's going to stay in center field. As for where I play, I think I might play short center this week. We might keep Jaime at short. He played a great shortstop. Mark Bra has a tremendous arm. To put him at second base, where, we have Jackie Haber, who played a great second base.
Oh, Jackie Haber's a great short center fielder also.
Short center. And then if we need to play 4 outfielders at certain batters, I could always run out and play the outfield without moving 12 guys around.
I don't know. I feel it's a waste to have your arm at short center. I mean, that's like...
Yeah, you know what? Short center, how many plays...
No, there's a lot of action up the middle. There's no question about it. I mean, but...
Norman Gads must have made as many plays as Adam Marshall made. Norman Gads made 4 plays at short center. A lot of guys go up the middle. You're involved with a lot of plays covering the bag, knowing what to do. And whatever helps the team win. We're very versatile, where a lot of guys can play a lot of different positions. There's always going to be someone who's not playing the position they want to play. And for me, it's all about winning. If I can help the team play short center, and I'll play short center. There's a week when Jaime's missing. I know Jaime's going away to Israel for a couple weeks, and I have to go back to shortstop.
No, we did not know that.
Shortstop,
Wow.
That, it's not a problem it's a problem that we'd like to have. That everyone can play a lot of positions,
Well, actually, Mark Braha could even play shortstop. He's a shortstop.
Mark Braha can play shortstop. Last year he played shortstop, and now he's happy at third base. And going forward, just looking to get some timely hits.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys really happy to dodge a bullet the other day, being shorthanded. So to get the split was definitely a good victory.
Definitely. And also, it's just a lot about confidence. Leo really needed the confidence of getting a win. We haven't been scoring a lot of runs for him. He'll be the first to tell you, he hasn't been on his game, but also the defense has been letting him down. I thought even with 9 guys, we made a lot of the plays. They got some hits, but that's softball. They're going to get some hits. And he was working from the head to count. He had some walks, but he scattered them. Some 14 innings, he scattered the walks, 2 consecutive batters. He really came to play, and hopefully he can build on it, and the team can build on it. And we're looking to, play Legion of Boom this week and get healthy really quickly and get 500 at the end of the week.
The truth is, you guys basically made every play. I know Sifu dropped 1, but he had a lot of chances out of position and right. And
when he dropped, we threw a guy out of the plate on a play that my dad made out of the plate by Jackie Haber. So I think even the one play that we didn't really cost us, and even that play maybe in the last inning of the inning that you scored your run on an extra inning where Jaime Simon threw the ball into the runner.
Mm-hmm.
DK was covering from left field and made a big play and got the second out at third base. Whereas you could have maybe scored a tackle and run there and really deflated us. So I think, we were in the game, we were on the bench, we were screaming at Mikey. The first 4 weeks he came to our game, you could hear a pin drop. I think, we got a little rah-rah involved. We were getting on Mikey, even though it wasn't seeming to affect him, it was affecting us as coming together as a team. It's really built some camaraderie this week.
All right, Jack. Thanks for the call and continued success the rest of the way. And you got it. All right.
Great call. A lot of information there, and he's right. They were very, very loud. I'm shocked that this team was not loud before this week.
I heard a lot of noise coming there. I mean, mostly they've been loud, thinking there's a conspiracy against their team. They're making a lot of noise about the umps and the executive board and the committee, and they think everybody's against them.
Them against the world against them, exactly. Basically. Right.
So they're definitely now they have a full team. So we'll see how they go on the rest of the way. Let's shoot over to Memorial 3.
Okay. The lovely, beautiful confines of Memorial
beautiful
3.
Memorial 3. And we had an interesting matchup there. It was the debut of Steve Azer for the Brooklyn Dodgers.
Yes.
Going up against the extremely red-hot Helter Skelter. And the story of the season, to me, anything goes on the YMSL, is one Meyer as Safety. Because I don't care what you say. How this guy's ERA hovering around 2
every year
is mind-boggling to me. So
everyone says, you know what, he's not that good, but apparently he somehow is that good because he keeps doing it.
I don't know. You know, the only scary part about the situation is, to me, somebody's going to take him to the second round next year, and he's going to be a bomb.
Right.
You know, because
that could happen.
That good.
It could definitely happen. But I mean,
it's really scary. I mean, it's just it doesn't make sense.
He doesn't walk anybody.
No. Which to me is the biggest factor.
It has to be. Yeah. It's a much bigger factor than anyone even realizes. Because look, he's not striking anybody out, but he will never walk anybody. So therefore, and he's winning games and he's giving up no runs.
Now the defense to me is unbelievable. I mean, they did not lose a beat. You know, any other team loses their first round pick shortstop, they're going to be, it's going to be a setback. They actually benefited. They put Max at short. Henry at second, coming off an injury. Svee's playing lights out at short center. And our old counterpart, Dougless Dweck at first. And David Richty playing third base, phenomenal, your old teammate.
Yeah. I mean, they have all these guys that are stepping up. They're playing at the top of their game. And that team really, really is tight and likes each other.
Yeah. No, it's a good camaraderie there. Albert Gamal playing left.
Eli Harari in center.
From what I hear, I only saw him 1 week this year. He's coming into his own finally.
He started the season very slow. Remember, week 1 he wasn't good.
It's been his MO for the last few years.
But then he wakes up as he gets going.
But he's played great center field and he's hitting, and so they're red hot. And they played. The Brooklyn Dodgers started out hot. They won. I think they were 3-1 and 4-1. All of a sudden now they're. This week with Azer could not find any offense whatsoever.
Right, and I was very interested because I know Azer pitches in other leagues, wherever he's from and everything. I know he keeps pitching, but I didn't know if he was still at the level he was when he won the championship with Insane back in whenever that was, 2-3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, whatever it was. And then I saw the score. I checked the Game Changer app brought to you by RBI. And I saw 1-0 final score, and I said, "Wow, Azer still got it to hold that team to one. He lost a 1-0 game, and he still got it."
And I believe they scored very early in the first game. So basically, the last 19 innings or whatever it was, 14 innings, they really gave up nothing. But the big story, they got no offense this week. Allie's been struggling. Granted, a lot of hard outs.
That's what they all said, even the other team. So.
I mean, he smoked. There was a run on first. He smoked a hard line drive, one hopper right to Henry. Stepped on second to the first, got him out. Then he went to right. He ripped it. I mean, he's just hitting with bad luck.
There's nothing you can do if you smoke a ball and it goes straight to the guy. What are you going to do? You just can't let it get to you and now affect you going forward, which I doubt it will get to him. But you always hear from everybody, "Oh, I hit line drive or whatever." But everybody said he hit 3 or 4 balls that looked like hits that all got straight to somebody. So what are you going to do? And then they also have Jimmy in that. They have a good lineup. They have a very good team, and I think they just ran into a buzzsaw with this Helter Skelter team. Everything seems to be clicking for them.
Yeah. Well, listen, you got to know. You're not going to get too many opportunities that team runs wise. So. And their offense is not great either. Helter Skelter, they do enough to get the job done.
Right.
But a very, very solid team, and really at 7-1, we didn't. I certainly didn't expect them to be 7-1.
I didn't expect it at all. I actually gave them their loss. It's a split. They split against the Cleveland Indians over there.
Yeah.
So as long as they avoid the Tribe, they're 6-0. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
So that's
we're going to talk about the humongous matchup coming up.
I can't wait.
This Sunday. So now they're sitting at 7-1, as we mentioned, and the Dodgers all of a sudden 4-4, right in the middle of the pack.
I think the Dodgers are fine. I really like that team. Now that I see that Azer is as good or maybe even better than Jeffrey Saka, who knows? And they have Allie and Jimmy in that line.
Well, they got some issues on this team. Now, a lot of people in the organization are saying that either Wasser or Harry Braha should be playing third.
I agree with that.
And the problem is, what do you do with Malak? Because you have Elliot Batesh, all-time leading hitter, a 39-year veteran, was not going to take it kindly to just be a DH.
You know what? So one of them has
to have to sit or platoon
or
something.
platoon it, either split it, or I don't think it's fair to ask one of them because they both deserve probably to field at least one game.
We might mention Harry Bra played a great short center field this week, and offensively also hit the ball hard. Wasser was a big loss. They didn't have him this week, probably one of the Rookie of the Year candidate. But he's a great third baseman in his own right, so it's going to be interesting to see what. I think they had Eli Batesh at second base this week.
Really?
Yeah, because Jack actually had caught one game. Jack Jamal.
Awesome, really.
A.B. Saruya wasn't there, so they were shorthanded this week.
So once you're missing the catcher and you have to pull a position player now catch, your whole field gets a little screwed up. But now we're at the halfway point of the season, basically, and you want to start now gearing up for the real. This is the real
second
meat
half
and
of the
potatoes.
year. But again, this is the trading deadline. We'll see what anybody comes up with. If teams start getting desperate, and is everybody on the market? We'll see. I don't know who.
I'm not hearing anybody from the Dodgers on the market, though. Are you?
No, I haven't heard anybody really.
I think they're happy with their team, from what I understand. They lost a couple of tough games. Remember week 1, they blew a 6-run lead at the end. Yeah. That's not going to happen too often. They lost a 1-0 game. That doesn't really usually happen. I think they feel confident about their team. I would make some moves with the positioning, like you said. Harry Braha has played third base. I wouldn't really trust Jimmy at third base. Unless he showed me differently.
I think he'd be a pretty good first baseman. I think that's
for sure
a no-brainer to put him there.
So what would you do? You DH Elliott? Or?
Yeah, listen, you got to worry about your team, and
for sure.
If he's not producing at first, or he's slow, or he's not, and it's got to be a full-time DH. That's the bottom line. You can't worry about egos at this point.
No, at this point now you got to start worrying
about players on the field. That's all.
Okay. So tough decisions for Marty and Jack.
Jamal, Marty,
the brain trust over at Brooklyn.
So now we're going to shoot over to the other side of town. Two huge games over at Dow Avenue.
Okay.
We had
good to get Dow involved this year a little bit.
Dow was. We had some issues, drainage issues over at Fireman's, and we had to relocate. By the way, anybody ever get the urge to do laps swimming? You don't have a pool in your backyard. Just go to Fireman's West.
The shortstop, right? The shortstop area.
27 laps, you'll be fine. Now we had this. We had the Astros coming in at 4-2,
right?
Versus the
Boys of Summer, who were 1-5 coming into the league.
Now this team has made all kinds of changes.
Yes,
in a topsy-turvy roster so far. The big news with this team is Ike Mavora is not pitching anymore.
Unbelievable turn of events. Possibly and probably the biggest story of the year.
Yeah.
I think even at the end of the year, when you look back and you see what happened, I personally think Ike will be the pitcher before the end of the year again. But right now, he's clearly not, and I think that's a huge, huge story because anyone that lists the top few pitchers in the league will mention Ike Mavora in there. He's a real pitcher.
Yeah.
He has more than one pitch. He knows what he's doing, and he just he's not giving any excuses. He's not saying it's an injury or anything. He's just saying he lost the plate.
Yeah.
And
well,
right
actually,
now,
he was saying his back was acting up.
And then, so
right, I think it's all a mental issue at this point because he's not even close.
It's clearly a mental issue, clearly, and he's got to work through it because right now Nemi was pitching one game, then they had Salim come pitch, and that seems to be their direction now, right?
Yeah.
They're going with Salim.
Well, I thought they were going to go 1-1. They actually made some inquiries about Moses.
Really?
Yeah, to do 1-1. They're trying to, I guess, recreate the Bad News Bears with Nemi and Moses, one game each.
By the way, that would not be a bad move for that. Moses would be a good as a backup pitcher.
Maurice was holding out for I think Salim for that.
Right.
So he thought he was a fair.
Maurice is very easy to make a deal with.
Very easy. But I honestly I thought the Astros would destroy them this week, and Nathan was very brazen and sent an email to the Astros that we're going to sweep you.
No way.
Yeah, and they went viral with it, and the whole team got wind of it.
Oh my God, I didn't hear that.
They said we're going to hit Eshko, and honestly, they did. Game 1.
Wow.
When I left Game 1, they were down 3-0. I thought, this is over. It's going to be a blowout. Next thing I checked on Game Change, they were up 8-3. So they hit them hard the first game.
Well, the big story in this game, I don't know if you heard this play at the plate with Norwood.
Well, that was in Game 2, I believe.
Oh, was it? Okay.
It was. No, you're right. It was Game 1. It was a 3-3 game. It was 4-3 game in the 7th inning.
First, it was 3-2.
Yeah.
Right? They had a play at the plate that somebody slid into Zolta and the ball got loose.
Yeah.
So 3-all. Then somehow became 4-3, and this is when the controversy began with Ike Norwood coming home. Ike Norwood, the new acquisition by the Boys of Summer, and coming home, he actually went airborne and leaped over the 6'2" Jack Zolta and landed directly on home plate. Now the thing is, there's a rule this year that you have to slide into home plate. So I don't know how you interpret this rule. Does he need to slide? Because he didn't make contact.
I mean, the thing is, did he barrel him? I think that's the biggest story. Like, I mean, they were looking to make a thing, protest. You have to slide. Like, what if you're 5 feet up the line and with the ball? The guy's got to slide in from there. Like, I mean, it's you got to make an attempt to score without barreling the guy over.
I agree. I think the point of the rule is to not kill the catcher.
Yeah, exactly.
So I agree with you.
If he jumped over him, he didn't touch him from everybody, and then Ash goes like, "Oh, protest," and all this nonsense. And Maurice Haber, the whole thing started with, you have to slide, and they filed a protest. Nonsense. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Another controversial. Oh, by the way, right after that, it became 5-3. Steven Safdie steps up.
Oh, with a 3-run
home at 8-3.
That was that was icing on the cake.
Now, I'm not sure if this happened in Game 1 or Game 2. It must have happened in Game 2 because the Astros won Game 2. Earlier in the game, Ike Norwood had a high pop to him. He was playing second base. Or a line drive to him, maybe he catches it but lets it drop in order to turn the double play.
Right.
Okay, Bush League, not Bush League, this, that. If the runner runs out of the box to first base, there's really no argument, but I guess the runner didn't, and everyone is killing Ike Norwood. We don't do this here. By the way, Ike Norwood in his first game, a lot of controversy already, right out of the box.
Well, last week he did a similar play, I'll tell you in a second, but I thought it was a brilliant play last week. Jake Dweck was on first, and Jack Jemal was at the plate.
Yeah.
It was a pop-up to Norwood. He was playing short. There was a pop-up. He says, "Everybody get out of the way." We're going to get out of the way. He lets the ball drop and steps on second because he knew the faster runner, Jake Dweck, would be out. And Jack Jamal, everybody lauded it as a brilliant play.
Right.
I mean, this is what you get with Norwood. You get the intangibles and you get the,
But
that's
it's a
why
dangerous
people
thing
love
to
play
do.
with him, but,
very dangerous because you know that he's going to let that ball drop one day and it's going to skip into right field and the floodgates are going to open eventually. You keep doing that.
Yeah, I guess you got to weigh the situation. I mean, it's really quick thinking. You got to know right away who's on base, and
So the Astros were complaining about what Norwood did.
Astros complaining. That's how ironic.
Believe it or not, that's how abrasive it was. Even the Astros complained. Later in the game, a high pop into behind second base, shallow right. Irving going back to try to catch it. He missed the ball, not on purpose, and there were 2 men on. Umpire didn't call the infield fly rule, and they ended up picking up the ball, getting a guy at second. If
Russell Mano is umping, he probably doesn't know the infield fly rule. So that's the thing. So we don't know who's there, but that's another tough call. The infield fly rule is it was in short right field.
It's 100%
it's a judgment call. Basically, does he have a shot to get it? Is it was he under it? It's a tough call. He's basically got to call it right off the bat, doesn't he? I mean,
you're supposed to call it as soon as you can. If the guy's planted under it, it's a short infield fly. But if the ball could somehow drop, it's a judgment call.
Right.
The umpire's got to make a call, which in this league could mean anything.
That's it. So they called what? They called it a...
They did not call it an infield fly. The runners didn't know what to do. The first out was a force at second because the ball dropped, force at second. Fine. Then the runner from second, I think it was Salim, but I'm not 100%. For some reason, he didn't have to go to third because he already got the force at second base.
Right.
He could stay at second now. He, for some reason, felt he needed to advance to third, and they tagged him out. So they got a double play.
Oh, wow.
And then from there, the Astros went on and won the game.
So, that was a 14-inning affair, I believe. Another one for the Astros we mentioned. Clearly, I didn't give them a shot to win that game at all. I thought they were going to get swept easily. You got to give them credit. They almost swept them. They could have swept them. They could not get a timely hit in extra innings. They had a couple of guys on several occasions. But I don't know. All of a sudden, that team, you look at it, they have a very solid lineup. Boys of Summer.
All of a sudden, those moves they made really all worked out. They sent away San Michon and Ajmi. They sent them out. They got Steven Safdie, premier player, playing a good outfield.
Norwood, acquiring. They got older, but they got experience. But all of a sudden they have a lot of tough outs. If they can figure out the pitching situation, the rest of. I don't know if Salim's the answer full time.
Why not Nemi? He can't do 2 games.
No, he can't do 2. He broke down last year with the Bears. He loses, just runs out of gas.
He loses it.
But you can do 1-1, which is not a crazy thing.
Definitely do 1-1, right?
So that's because you're really losing at third base also if Salim's not there.
I know, and you're putting A.B. Salem at third.
Yeah.
I hear he's playing a good third base, by the way.
Speaking of A.B. Salem, I think he's on the air. Is this Nahari?
What's happening?
Caller!
Speak up, sing a tune, say something.
This is not the silent Amida.
How are you, Mr. Salem?
How are you, Bob? How you doing, Norman?
Very good, very good.
Is it true you've made inquiries to your old buddy Marty to get him back into the organization?
Those rumors have been floating around.
Yeah, so you seem to...
Those are just rumors.
All right, AB, I got to tell you, the last couple of years, you've seen a lot of action. Your stock has gone through the roof.
Well, Marty kept telling me, and he was trying to hide me out.
Well, he did a good job. You were a premier catcher for many years in that organization.
Somehow it got out.
So, tell us a little about your team this week. You played a very strong Astro team. You almost swept them.
Yeah, it was a tough swing. Actually, that play that you talked about with Irving and shallow outfield, it was with Steven Safdie up in the bottom of the 12th.
Oh,
wow.
First and second and 1 out.
Okay.
So, all you need is Steven Safdie to get on base, and then you just need a fly ball. That's it, and he just popped it up. Runners, like you said, didn't know what to do. They held up, they ran, they weren't sure what the umpire was calling. And inning over, and next inning, Maurice scored the 4 runs, game over.
Wow. I didn't realize it was the 12th inning in that
wow.
game. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was the 12th inning with Steven Safdie up, so we thought we had confidence we were going to win the game, but and we had David O'Hara on deck, so they had.
Were you the home team or the road team?
now they were all home.
The home team.
Wow! Oh my God, you were an inch away from sweeping them.
We had several opportunities in extras. We had almost
Every inning you had 2 guys on. I was checking. It seemed like. So it would have been a nice sweep for your franchise to really get back into the mix, especially beating a strong Astro team. Would have been a nice.
Yeah, that would have been a huge momentum breaker for us.
So you played third base both games?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Did you get any action over there?
Big Soli hit a couple of balls.
Oh boy, those are hard hit balls.
Eshko tested me out. What's with that? I thought Eshko is only allowed to pitch. What happened?
Well, what does that mean? What did he do?
He was hitting.
No, he can hit. But
No, he can't play other positions.
He can't play left field.
So when he's in the field, he can only pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, understood.
Why? Who pitched?
So I want to add something that you were
Eshko
talking about before about making rules up as you go during the season.
Yes. Do you have a rule you'd like to make up?
That I would like to make up.
Sure, yeah. What do you got?
Bobby, this afternoon,
What?
regarding the subbing, I've been noticing each team every week, like Bobby told me, it's unfair to have 13 players on a team. That's unfair because clearly you're not going to have people that are going to be happy. They're not going to get playing time.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, when you're going to have teams that are left with 9 or 10 players and some of them are even injured, it can be problematic. So I wanted to suggest bring in a sub
Yeah, but then it becomes a circus.
Right.
Every week you're bringing in somebody. He's not as good, but he played better, and you draft 12 guys, and when guys are missing, it's the perfect opportunity for the 12th guy to play and bat both. You know.
Right, but you have some weeks where you have 9 players.
Well, what can we do? We can't. We can't
you
keep
can't. I'm
rotating.
telling you, you have 13. It's a problem when all 13 show up. I mean, the odds are there's always going to be one guy missing and stuff. But we can't control bachelor parties and all this nonsense.
And by the way, this week is the Vegas week, the real estate. It's always people missing this week, every single year. This is like the lowest week of attendance. And now from here on in, a guy goes to Israel, this guy has that, but it's not a huge problem after this week usually.
Yeah, and I think people know beforehand who's missing,
Yeah, of course.
I don't think any of these games are surprises, these missing games. Joe Chira told us before the year started he was missing 2 weeks. We knew JT was missing weeks. We knew Lee was missing 2 weeks.
Yeah, there were a bunch of guys.
Henry's missing 2 weeks in June. Jack Abadi's going to World Cup in I don't know when it is, June also.
Yeah, June, mid-June.
So everybody really knows. It's a problem. Let's say if you have 10, and then one guy gets hurt during the game. But those really we can't predict those type of situations.
Right.
But we appreciate the suggestion.
Morris Hot Sutton is on the block. Looking to be picked up.
Okay, you're trading Haas? He's on your team? No, he's on.
I saw him at the field today. He said he will be in uniform next week.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know for which team, but he told me he's going to be in uniform, dressed.
Yeah, he is actually. We'll talk about that. Okay, Abe, thanks for the call. It's good seeing you, and good luck this week.
Bobby, what is he talking about with Haas? What team is Haas on? Haas was taken this year, no?
No, Haas is not in the league this year.
Okay, so Haas is now joining the league?
No, well, there's a situation came up with the Rockies. Ralph Cohen's on his team.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, lost his mother a week ago, and is not playing for 30 days for the mourning period. So Sammy Towell thought it was only right that, we have sort of a bereavement rule, for that. But we said you still have a full team. You have 11 guys, and so we said the only time you can, and also JT's gone away for a couple of weeks, so he might be short. So we said he can pick up Haas in the event that he only has 9.
Okay, yeah, no one's gonna have a problem with that, I don't think.
Huh? Okay. So anyway, that's why Haas was picked up, and
Bobby, phone lines are blowing up. We still have a Legion of Boom game to review also when you get to that, right? We didn't go over that game, but
they're still in YMSL. They went to BKS. This call coming in from Miami, Solid Gold. Sam, you're on the air. How are you? Are you on the speaker? Please.
Caller, turn your radio down. Pick up the phone.
I just did.
Sammy Insane Sutton, how are you?
How you guys doing?
We're doing good. How can we help you tonight?
Okay, I'm calling for a few things. First of all, I'd like to see if I could lose this nickname I inherited in the last 2 years. It's insane because this year I'm trying to be a different person. And I'm staying away from all the azab and all the arguing. And I'm actually enjoying myself, but I got to tell you, my captain, doing everything and being a team player and not fighting with anybody on either team, and just being one of the leaders on the team, as far as, in the huddle, and just doing whatever I can to chip in to help the team. And I also wanted to bring up another point where a shortstop, Shorty Ramel, I know Bobby doesn't really plan on having dinner with him anytime soon, but this kid Shorty is playing unbelievable. He's making every single play.
Before you go into it with Jordy, we're just going to attach the link of your intro to him in the World Series last year. You spoke about 20 to 25 minutes about Jordy, so we don't need to hear it again right now how highly you think of him.
Well, I just want you to know that he's got to be an MVP candidate now, and defensively, which he never gets credit for. And another thing I would love to bring up is probably one of the most important things I've told, in my ring for a while. Bobby, when he used to play in the league, that was probably the last time they allowed 11 or 12 guys to hit. But I will tell you, you could probably pick down my batting average, but if you look at the last 2 or 3 years, this year I had a better year than probably 25 of the second and third round picks in the league. And this year I'm hitting, 375. I got as many RBIs rolled to pick on, and as many runs scored, and I just know that Bobby couldn't, if he was self-hitting, and nobody was in the field, I don't think he could hit 200.
Sammy, you're way off base. I always said, I told Nathan, you're by far the best 14th round pick in the history of the YMSL. Are you kidding me? I would have taken you in a heartbeat over Labo, and who else was there? There's some other characters. You're definitely high up there.
Don't pick on Labo. Come on now.
But anyway, Sammy, I'm happy. First of all, congratulations for being traded off the Old Men of Summer organization.
I'm really enjoying myself. This team that I'm playing on it's tremendous. I mean, each guy every week he comes to the field, another guy chips in, and it's just we're leading we can run scores, and we haven't even hit yet. It reminds me a little bit of the Pirates team was on last year when we lost in the World Series. We scored a lot of runs. We do it all in 2 or 3 innings. But then it's all basically lockdown defense. We hit the cutoff man. A lot of fundamentals on this team. They hit the cutoff man. Nobody overruns the base. They cut the corner on the turn. I mean, each guy does what he does, to do the right thing on the team. And it's all run by, of course, our leader, El Capitan, Sammy Dow. This guy really knows the game of baseball. And it's enjoyable to play with a guy that knows what's going to happen before the next play comes in. I really think this team is going to win the whole thing. I'm not just being biased because I'm hungry. I really love our team.
All right, sounds good, and we'll see what happens this week without JT. Rumor has it you were practicing in center field this week. Is that true?
Actually, I may even be pitching because our pitcher is got a little bit of an issue, but hopefully that's going to be resolved.
Oh, really?
Today, this week.
What's the issue?
No, he's okay. He's okay. He just he had a big lunch, and we don't know. Everything will be okay. Everything's going to be okay, God willing. But I'm not based on the field. I'm lucky to be on the field, and but I do look forward to this marquee matchup. I really think this should be played on Memorial 1. I think you guys should try a little switcheroo.
The scheduling department will.
We might consider that. Definitely put you on Memorial 1.
Really, because you have it preset, but this is marquee matchup.
Yeah, we'll take that into consideration as we do with all your suggestions. Sammy, always a pleasure talking to you, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right.
Bob, you want to respond? He was picking on your hitting ability over there, saying you with a T that you wouldn't be able to beat his 375 average.
Well, listen, when Insane Mendoza put you down with his career 191 batting average,
It hurts.
yeah, it definitely hurts, and but
And he did win 4 Top Guns recently.
yes, he's also made that claim, and always good to hear from Sammy in St. Sutton. By the way, he's going to be dancing at 11 o'clock, so if anybody wants to catch that.
So wait, who'd Legion of Boom play this week? The Rockies?
Legion of Boom played the Rockies, yes.
And it was 2 blowouts, or it was close games?
One it was 7-1. What was the score? Huh?
Let me see. Let's pull up the scores. Obviously,
The first game was a blowout.
Okay. Let me see. It's loading.
7-1. I think it might have been 3-0 the second game.
By the way, we have a new feature. We're going to announce the players of the week
Yes.
live on the show. We're going to call in. You want to introduce league analysts?
Yeah. What was the final score of that game?
The final score was no, that's Boys of Summer. Hold on. There we go. Oh boy. Sorry. I'm going the wrong way. My bad.
Well,
Okay.
they lost 2. That's all we need to know.
4-1. They lost 4-1
What was
to
the
the
second
Rockies.
game? First game was 7-1 or something? No,
Something like 7-2
wasn't
or
so
something.
close.
7-2 or something.
7-2 and 4-1. No, 9-4 and 4-1.
Oh.
Those don't sound like such blowouts,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth.
No, the second game was close. I think the first game was a bit of a blowout. But clearly that Legion of Boom team is struggling immensely in all facets of the game.
Yeah, they're 1-7. They were 1-0.
They started out mercying AB Saka's first game 17-2.
Right.
And it's been downhill.
Little 7-game losing streak.
Seven-game losing streak. Picked up Sam Michon, who's, I don't think he's won a game this
He's
year.
winless.
0-9, right?
Yeah, he's 0-9, right?
So, yeah, he's clearly having a rough year.
He was 0-2. He's 0-8. He's 0-8 right now. He lost 2 with the boys.
Oh, you're right.
And 6 with the Legion of Boom.
They scored 17 runs their first game and 24 in their next 7 games.
Wow. That's an interesting stat from Elias.
From the Elias Sports Bureau. 17 runs of their 41 in game 1 of week 1.
Yeah, and clearly a lot of mistakes in that team. You're very, very young, as you mentioned. Rookie Ralph Sutton, pitching very hard and just not getting any support defensively. So we're going to see. Interested if they're having a fire sale this week. We'll see what happens over there.
Well, Captain Joe Eshko is going to have a chance to make his first big moves here. Let's see what he does.
He already made a big move. Gave up veteran Steven Safdie to pick up. Who knows? That could have been the downfall.
That trade right now is looking a lot better for the Boys of Summer than it is for the Legion of Boom.
Yeah,
up in Seattle.
All
right, so
let's introduce our special lead analyst and co-commissioner, Albert Tao, to announce Player of the Week. We got a full committee.
Oh yeah, man. There's no one here to answer the calls, but
Call, you're on the air.
Louis Franco.
Louis Franco. Oh.
Hello?
Yeah, Cole, you're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing? Louis Franco from the Rockies.
Hey, Louis Franco. This is not the Lost and Found department. This is the live show. What, did you lose something this week? Yes.
Legion of Boom. I think they're a great squad.
Great squad.
Great squad, and they were actually close games, and their 1-7 record is not what they what it shows.
You have any family in that organization, or?
I really don't. And I was just looking at their numbers and watching the show, and I saw Sam Bichon. He mentioned that he hasn't won a game. I checked his numbers, and they're not doing too great. He's batting at 250.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Catching some balls that.
So you're predicting Legion of Boom will string a few games together after this week?
Yeah, I do. I think they're fun. They're young, they're talented. I think that's better leadership. And I got to say, maybe they need a change at the shortstop position.
Oh, wow.
Who do you suggest?
I think Sam should move to short. And,
Is Sam Michon at your house right now, by any chance?
no, not at all. I happened to be driving home with him after the game, and we were speaking about it. There were a lot of errors made in the shortstop position. But he didn't mention anything, but I suggested it.
Yeah, well.
Okay, well.
He failed to mention that he made a lot of errors week 1, which forced him to get traded from Boys of Summer. So, he left that part out. But talk to us about your team a little bit here. You're 7-1, rolling along. You're very confident with this with your team?
Yeah, I love the team. It's a great squad. I mean, we're having a good time. We're taking it game by game, obviously. And everybody's hitting, so it's nice. Everybody's feeling good.
All right, it's going to be interesting without JT this week, so we'll see. I believe they said Victor Dweck is playing center field, which
interesting.
Could be interesting, but really he's...
I think it doesn't really matter where anybody plays. Sandy's a great captain. He knows what he's doing. And we're going to pull it out. That's what we do. We're the Rockies.
All right.
From Denver. Louis from Denver.
Right,
Thank you for the call.
Thanks for calling. A lot of people with accolades for Captain Sammy Tao, 25-time Gold Glove winner, first ballot Hall of Famer, and
Bobby, when you win 7 of 8, everything is smooth sailing. So you can't blame them if they're not happy now.
Well, they're either saying that because they want to make sure they're in the lineup also. So
right.
That's another story. But
he does run a tight ship, by the way. I remember he benched Richie last year.
Yes,
if you don't show up and you take it too lightly, you're gonna have to take the seat. All right, Albert, what do you got here?
All right, so let's introduce Albert Tal with the Week 4 Player of the Week.
You need a microphone, or else they can't hear me.
Yes.
So it's gonna be hard to thank you. As a new segment, we're going to announce the Players of the Week surprise on the show. I'm surprised I didn't think of this earlier.
Okay.
But and hopefully it'll increase some of the ratings, even though they're already through the roof. But there's always room for improvement. So, so we got 3 Players of the Week this week. The first one from the Hebrew Nationals, the co-captain, Mr. Morris Casson. Congratulations.
Wow.
He went 5 for 7 this week, 3 RBIs. With a big sweep for Hebrew Nationals, saving their season. What are they now? 5 and 3. So big sweep. They're putting them in the top of the league. So congrats, Morris Casson. He said, we got a quote from him. He says, "I want to win a ring to make up for the one I gave to my fiance." So very nice by Morris Casson.
Okay.
He already gave a ring away. He wants to get one back.
I'm sure this ring's a lot cheaper than the one he gave us.
I sure hope so. So congratulations, Morris, who has his wedding coming up in a few weeks. All right, second we have Jacobati.
Okay.
Congratulations, Jacobati. What team is he on?
Untouchables.
Untouchables. I haven't really been around so much this season yet. 4 for 6. He went 4 for 6 with 4 runs and 2 walks. So he reached base 6 times.
And 1 injury.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The league is applauding him for that.
And Jacobati couldn't be reached for comment. So
that's a shame.
Arguing with the umpire, couldn't reach himself.
Although he was on the phone for 10 minutes tonight.
Yeah. And the third one, congratulations, Jackie Haddon.
Yes.
We want to announce thank you to AARP for sponsoring this week's play. Last week was 2 weeks ago, RBI sponsored Player of the Week.
Okay.
And this was 7 years previous to that. We had Delivery sponsored it last week, and we had a new sponsor.
This week. Wow.
Call us. And then AARP sponsored it this week. Very nice of them, because that's he's their lead endorsement, so it's very nice.
Jack Haddon resurrected this year.
I heard he and Nathan both had awesome games this week, by the way.
Yeah.
Boys of Summer trying to get out of the basement of the standings. Jack Haddon went 6 for 9.
Wow.
With 2 RBIs, and he said, we got a quote from him. He says, "I haven't hit this good since I hit the ball to Ocean Avenue at the Phillips Avenue Field." So
wow, that's way back when. Phillips Avenue Field was talking about...
that's RBJ days, by the way. That's,
you're talking Throwback Thursday.
Unfortunately, it doesn't carry too much weight because RBJ used to hit the ball to Ocean Avenue. So we're talking about cold field dimensions over there, but...
all kidding aside, Red really used to hit Ocean Avenue in those days.
Let's get one straight. I don't think anybody used to hit it further than Moses because they used to go over Ocean Avenue into the house and across the street.
Unbelievable.
As a right hand.
Unbelievable.
But for anybody who knows Deal Softball, legendary stories of Phillips Avenue Field. I mean, it was... those were the days. I mean, you had 300 people watching.
Beach
games.
chairs and everything.
If you go on Instagram, on our account, at YMSL Softball, if you scroll down to some of our pictures from last year, from 2013 and 2012, you see a lot of Throwback Thursday.
It's great stuff.
Black and white pictures from almost 40 years ago. Really cool to see. And also, last person we have to mention, we have an honorable mention.
Okay.
Couldn't make the cut, but honorable mention goes to Jordan Rameld. He reached base 6 times. We would have given a Player of the Week. We couldn't see his stats. So,
that's a shame.
You seem to have an issue with that.
I don't know. It's some kind of virus on the computer or something. I don't know what it is. But anyway, congratulations, Jordy. Sorry you couldn't make the cut.
I think also last year we had virus when his votes were tallied up. I think also it was...
No, we actually didn't have a virus. That was actually correct, those votes. Yeah.
So, he won't even joke about the vote.
We don't need to open up another can of worms.
Right.
So...
so Sammy Insane seems to think there's a conspiracy over there, but
you mentioned the Sammy Insane video from last year's World Series.
It's great.
If you have 45 minutes to spare, I really recommend watching it. It's a really nice video.
Actually, I want to see it because I've been having trouble sleeping lately. I want to really catch up on it. So please,
it's a nice. If you have insomnia, it's
nice for sure. I'd rather hear A.B. Salem do Hatikva. So thank you, Albert.
We heard it here. Thank you,
Albert.
Great story. By the way, Albert's going to be scouting in Tel Aviv and Tiberias for some new talent. So
and Italy,
and maybe
Italy
Milan.
to try to find some new talent. Some
Piazza's from Italy. There's some good talent.
A lot of
over
stuff
there.
going out there. So going on a scouting trip to the Middle East and Europe.
Hopefully
so
bring back some younger talent and let's see what happens. And,
all right.
And Norman, so we didn't get to elaborate quickly this week's games. Let's talk a little about this week's matchup.
Sure.
Memorial won. By the way, it's the way the fields have been weathered this year. Everything's tentative, we should say, with all the fields. But this week, Untouchables versus Legion of Boom.
So that's the featured game on Memorial 1 right now. Untouchables 3-5, Legion of Boom 1-7.
I look at a sweep for Untouchables. They get their act together this week.
Yeah, they'll regret it if they don't sweep this week. They're 3-5. They have a chance to be 5-5. I think they're going to be.
Joe Chira and A.B. Dwight coming back.
At full strength, that team's a real team. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, no question about that. Now, your matchup, I guess Jeffrey Sack is back in the mix this week.
Not playing Boys of Summer.
Oh, what is that, a mistake?
No, Cleveland Indians, Boys of Summer. No Jeffrey Saga. This is
Boys
Nathan
of Summer.
Mavora.
Right. Oh, so you got Mavora and the Indians.
Indians are 3-5. Boys of Summer are 2-6.
Both shorthanded. Also, Boys of Summer missing Nathan and Jackie Adams. We might mention pulled the hamstring a little bit. He's listed as Vince Scully likes to say day to day.
Aren't we all? As he says. Yeah. Such a great quote.
So it could be interesting, but Norman, I don't know. I think it's going to be another split only because I think offensively your team struggles mightily to score more than 3 runs a game.
I hear you, but I think this week we actually broke out. We actually scored 7 and then 5 against a good
but
team.
Again, let's not mention how many innings that was.
That's true. That is true. But I think the Tribe is ready. I really do. We keep splitting and saying we keep getting closer to sweeping. Yeah. I think this is the week we get it done.
Interesting to see who's going to be going up against. I guess maybe Nemi and Salim, or maybe Mavora comes back. So we'll see about that. I see the split. Then we'll leave the big matchup for the end. Now over at Meadowbrook, we have the Cardinals versus the Brooklyn Dodgers. Cardinals again. Looking to trade. We'll see if they make any trades before the deadline on Friday. Going up against the Dodgers. I'm assuming Saka is back. But I see the Cardinals winning 1, and I don't know. The truth, I could see them sweeping a little bit if the Dodgers don't.
No. Brooklyn Dodgers are going to sweep.
Really?
Yeah. The Brooklyn Dodgers are a lot better of a team than the Cardinals. It seems the Cardinals, the whole team is up for trade. It seems a lot of guys on that team want to be traded.
Right.
I don't like that locker room right now. Brooklyn Dodgers have had a couple of unlucky losses. Not unlucky. I mean, they deserve their record, but tough losses. And I think the Brooklyn Dodgers are going to sweep the Cardinals and have an easy time doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Cardinals seem to play with a lot of turmoil. And, but again, they have a lot of talent, and, we'll see if they can...
Bobby, I want to just give a quick shout-out to one of the many viewing parties across the globe. And, this has become a sensation. I mean, people gathering around in the hundreds, and like in Toronto when the Raptors were in the playoffs, you saw all those fans jumping outside. They were watching the YMSL show. And Nathan Towell, JT having a Sheva Berachot, and... We just want to say hi to that viewing party. We know they're all watching.
Really?
So we thank them for that.
Which rabbi's watching this stuff? What's going on? So definitely the Cardinals. I don't know. We'll see what happens if they can get it together.
So you're saying Cardinals sweep. I'm saying Dodgers sweep.
Split if that.
But you're leaning towards...
Yeah, but I most likely a split, but I could see them.
Somebody told me, it was Dougless, he told me, Bobby used to always pick splits, and now he only picks sweeps. So I don't know if you noticed that or not.
No, I did. Am I right? Most of the time?
I don't know. We have to check.
I know you, but
you're statistically 25% more likely to get it right if you pick a split every week.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I know you've picked the sweep every week.
I love picking sweeps because...
No, you picked the sweep with the Indians to sweep every week.
I always do that. Come on.
So, now, over another huge matchup over at Fireman's, which is the Hebrew Nationals, red hot, 5-3, versus the Astros, 5-3. And I think at the end of the day, both these teams are going to be 6-4. It's too close a matchup for anybody to sweep, but I think A.B. Sack is going to... the truth is the Astros with their lineup, and I looked at it again the other day. It's an unbelievable lineup. And Eshko, it's 9th to 10th. I mean, it's really stacked. But they're not hitting really.
No, I don't like the way they did their lineup. To tell you the truth, if I had this roster, I would not lead off with Morris. I would lead off with Eshko, then go Farka, then go Morris, Because imagine that in the first inning. Eshko, Farka, Morris.
Right.
Then you put your big guys in any order. Solly, Saban, Maurice.
Right.
Those three. And then you go towards the end of the lineup. I would put, then you also have Sonny in there. You have a lot of speed.
Louis the
you have a
Lip
lot of power.
full-time,
Louis the Lip.
Full-time position in right field now.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't like Morris leading off. I don't like Eshko batting 10th or wherever he's batting 9th. I don't think it makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I think if you start a game with Eshko, Farka, Morris, and then 3 power hitters, I think that's
But why would you put Farka second and not Morris second? Because
okay, fine.
Farka's more power hitter.
You could switch that also. That's fine.
I mean, Morris really been a prolific leadoff hitter most of his career.
True, but if when I played them, we had a situation where we could have or should have walked Farka. They had Big Solon behind them. If Morris was up behind them, it would not even be a conversation. We'd have to pitch them because you're not going to walk someone to get to Morris at the end of the day.
Right.
But I agree with you. You want to put Morris 2, Farka 3, that's fine. Yeah. I just think it's a waste to put him leadoff. You get by him somehow, or if he just gets a single, you're done with him. He's a main hitter.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of interesting how they're leaving Eshko all the way in the bottom there. But, I guess they want to have a little, some pop. But it's they really haven't really hit it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And they played 2... really equivalent of 2 extra games, and they really haven't.
Almost everybody did. There's a lot of long games this year.
Yeah, they're not just going 8 or 9; they've been going 12,
they're going 14.
So I'm not too happy about that. So I see a split for sure with these 2 teams, and one of these weeks, the Astros are probably just going to explode. I don't know who it's going to be.
I know, but when is it going to be? I don't know.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen. But now let's go for that huge matchup.
Helter Skelter versus the Rockies.
Yeah, I don't know where that game might be relocated. That game we're going to see, but Helter Skelter versus the Rockies. The big story in this game is they're not playing with JT. I mean, a huge loss. Can Victor Dweck pick up the slack? At least hold up his own. Helter Skelter playing very, very solid. We mentioned Meyer Safdie. With the lowest ERA in the league, and Hammer and Hank playing second base seems to be getting healthier as the weeks go on. I see. I don't know. This is going to be a tough game, but definitely a tough doubleheader. I think it's going to be very low scoring, but I would say it's going to be a split, and somehow the Rockies are going to figure. But if there is a sweep, it's going to be Helter Skelter, in my opinion.
It's a very, very tough game to pick. Right now, you'd think these are the 2 best teams in the league, obviously, by record. If one of them sweeps, they're going to be way ahead in first place with the direct route towards the bye as we reach the halfway point. I think the Rockies, I think at full strength, the Rockies are the better team than Helter Skelter, in my personal opinion, between their pitcher. But what was Sammy Sutton talking about with the pitcher at lunch?
I think he's a big lunch. I don't know. I think he's making jokes, which is I don't think.
Okay, over my head, I guess. I don't know, but I'm gonna go the safe route and just pick a split. I don't see either team getting swept. To tell you the truth, I can't picture it. So I'll go with the split.
Yeah, I think they're gonna both be 8-2 at the end of the day, and either one of them sweeps. It's a nice start, 9-1.
9-1, not bad. Not bad.
So, Norman, I'm sure you're going to be on the sidelines still taking charge. And
of course, yeah. And, I can't wait to get there. And,
having your teepee over there. And so we'll see how that comes along. A huge week for you. And I guess you've been working the phones also this week. About 3 days left until the deadline. Mm-hmm. See if you can...
A few people have called us. We are standing pat. We're very, very happy with our squad. And, I think my team is a lot better than my record shows. I really do. Maybe I'm crazy, and I could be proved wrong when the season ends if I'm on the other end of the playoffs looking in. I hope not. But I think we're really a strong team. And we'll see how it goes.
Just out of curiosity, what happens if all of a sudden Maurice calls you with a Mount Saban proposal? Do you bring him into the organization, or
you know what? Saban called
at a major bat to your lineup.
Saban called into the show and had nothing but the nicest things to say about Mikey. If you remember, he said I have a special place in my heart for him.
Married to his cousin.
Yeah. If anybody calls with Saban, you have to take the call. Obviously, you know? We would listen to anything, but between you and me, I got my 12 guys, and I'm good to go. I think my team is good enough to win the whole thing. I really do. It sounds dumb because we're 3-5,
right.
But I would listen to anything. I really doubt I would make another move. We got Ralph Shearer now, but we didn't play with him yet. He was away.
Yeah.
And now we'll be back at full strength this week, and we'll be ready to go.
All right, so we'll see. We'll see what happens the rest of the way, and it's a huge holiday weekend, and so we'll see. After 10 games, I think everybody's gonna have an idea where they're who's the haves and the have-nots at this point. So hopefully, it's Legion of Boom finds a way to win a couple games to keep them interested, and we'll see. And good luck, everybody, this weekend. Enjoy your time. Supposed to be a beautiful weekend finally.
I hope so. Yeah.
And thanks, and we'll see everybody next week.
We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Oh.
Who do we defend in the last minute?
Answer. I don't think he's on the air.
Who is it? Which saying?
It's saying.
Again? To explain the joke?